I'm Briohny, and you can find me on Instagram at Yoga with Briohny. I'm here at the beautiful Alo Yoga flagship store in Beverly Hills, and I'm super excited to share this short, fun, and effective handstand practice with you. It's only 15 minutes, so we're gonna get straight into warming up, handstanding in different ways, and then I'll stretch and balance you out. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel just so that you don't miss out on all the fun content. Let's get started in tabletop position. Anytime I'm working my handstands, I want to make sure that my wrists are warm. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And actually, before we warm up our wrists, it's really important to just make sure we've got the correct alignment and engagement going on in the hands. Hands, shoulders distance. Index fingers forward will be a lot healthier on the wrists and the shoulders, especially jumping straight into handstands for 15 minutes. Grip the ground with the fingertips, root down through the index finger knuckles, firm the forearms in, spread the shoulder blades wide. I'll keep saying that throughout this class. From here, I'm going to turn your hands around. Just stretching the inseam of the wrists. Make sure your fingertips, especially your middle fingers, face the knees. Put a little bend in the elbows and push down firmly through the base of the palm. Then turn the hands around so that the hands, or fingertips I should say, face the midline of the mat. Wrists about shoulders distance apart. Spread the fingers. Little bend in the elbows. Just taking the hands from flexion into extension. Then from here, turn the hands back around, back to that tabletop position. Reaffirm the foundation. Grip fingertips, root down through index finger knuckles, and just begin to create little circles counterclockwise. These circles are so important in mobilizing the wrists here. You can make bigger circles if your wrists are a little bit more flexible. And then go clockwise a couple times. And coming back to center in that tabletop position, push down through the hands, tuck the toes under, inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Using this down dog to really begin to strengthen the arms, the shoulders, the core, and open the back body. So you want to lift the forearms up so you feel weight in the fingertips. Squeeze the forearms together so that you engage your pecs, and then spread the shoulder blades wide so that you engage serratus anterior, the really important muscle for your handstands. From here, walk your hands back towards your feet. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold it down. Grab a hold of opposite elbows. Drop the crown of the head down. Lift the sit bones up. Lift the outer hips up as you lift the quads. Draw the navel and the ribs in. So I want you to practice. Now we've worked on the hands, the arms, the shoulders. Now I want you to practice really hollowing out the front body in this fold. Every handstand starts with a fold. So you want to be able to engage the core, pull the ribs in as much as you can in this folded position. So do that here. Think about the ribs drawing in like a corset, the navel drawing into the spine, and you'll actually feel like the torso gets longer. Then fingertips underneath the shoulders, flat back. Walk back into that downward facing dog. So just thinking about that foundation. First, hands, shoulders distance, grip the ground with the fingertips. Pressing back into the down dog, draw the ribs and the navel in. Now, what do we do with our legs? What we do with our legs is so important because the femur bones, the thigh bone action actually brings the hips over the shoulders in your handstand lift. So this is what we do. Bring your feet together. Flex your right foot and hover the right foot off the ground. So you're not lifting the right leg up, you're just hovering it off the ground. And notice what that does. As you hover the right foot up off the ground, it pulls the thigh bone up into the hip socket, and it actually brings the pelvis up and over the shoulders a little bit. And it works the low back muscles, the QL muscles. These are the muscles that will bring your pelvis over your shoulders for that handstand hop. Let's get straight into it. Place your right foot down, lift your left leg up. So what you just did with your right foot, that hovering, is the same action that you're going to do when you handstand hop. Left leg is lifted. Walk your hands back so that your hands are underneath your shoulders. Your right foot is underneath your hip. From here, rise to the ball of the right foot. Squeeze the inner thighs to one another. Point your left toes. Hollow out the front body like we just did in that forward fold and grip the ground with the fingertips. Look between the wrists, not the thumbs. Bend your right knee and think about just a little hop. Flex your right foot off the ground and suck that right thigh bone up. If you need to take a look, first look up here. I'm going to flex my right foot and suck that right thigh bone up. That action is far better than kicking with the top leg, which creates a back bend. Try it again. Exhale, hop. 2 more. Exhale, hop. On that last one, maybe you find that L-shaped handstand. Keep the L shape. Keep pulling the thigh bone back of the right leg. Squeeze the thighs together. Hollow out the front body. Put that right foot down. And I forgot to mention, if you need to use a wall, feel free to do so. Walk your hands back into that down dog shape. Put your left foot down. And let's do that on the left side. So the idea here is to hover your left foot up off the ground. So I want you to feel the action of that bottom leg, because the key to your handstand hop is in that left or the bottom leg thigh bone pulling up. And that's what engages the muscles above the pelvis to bring the hips over. Suck that thigh bone up one more time. Pull the navel in. Then put your left foot down, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, lift your right leg up. So many of us think that the entry is from standing splits. The problem with standing splits is that your upper body is in a back bend because we're lifting our lifted leg too high. Think of it more as a warrior 3 shape. Right leg is a bit lower, hips are squared, firm the thighs in. Hands underneath the shoulders, grip the ground with the fingertips, push through the hands, hollow out the front body, look between the wrists. Come to the ball of the left foot, bend the left knee, and mimic that lifting of the foot. Flex the left foot, pull the thigh bone up. Do that a few times. It's an exhalation to hop. And on that next one, maybe you're using a wall, maybe you aren't, doesn't even matter. But of course, if you're worried of falling, use the wall. If you can balance, hold that L shape, pull the ribs in, squeeze the thighs, use your fingertips as brakes. Slowly lower the left foot down, walk your hands forward, right foot comes down, breathe. If you need to come down onto your shins, do so. Take a moment just to think about what you did, not so much in a judgmental way, but just thinking about how it takes time and practice to really implement those feelings into your body, especially when there's fear involved. I'm going to move forward into piking because as much as this is about teaching you to get into it, it's also about practicing handstand in 15 minutes. So come on back in a downward facing dog. So we just did a one-legged kick up. It's the same thing when you're hopping with 2 legs. Instead of thinking about your legs coming over, your hips need to come over, and the action of drawing your thigh bones into your hip sockets is going to help you. Bring your legs together, and again, if you're worried about falling, I invite you to practice in front of a wall. There's nothing wrong with using a wall. Bring your gaze forward. Shorten your down dog just a little bit. Grip the ground with the fingertips. Root down with the index finger knuckles. Firm the elbows in. Draw the ribs and the navel in. Inhale to your toes and bend your knees. Now, from here, you're going to land back here. All you're going to do is jump up, doesn't matter how high, kick your heels to your butt, and land back down. Notice that I kept myself in a tiny little ball. My knees do not lift up at all. I think about bringing my thighs to my chest and my heels to my butt. Try that 3 more times. Exhale, hop. Heels to butt, thighs to chest. Exhale, hop. 1 more. You're going to land at the front of the mat. Hop up, and then to the front of the mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, root to rise, all the way up towards standing. Exhale, bring your hands behind your back, interlace the fingers. A lot of handstanding, putting a lot of weight on your shoulders, tends to tighten the front of the shoulder, so let's balance it out. Press the palms together. Internally rotate the upper arm bone, so as if the shoulder comes forward, but then open the shoulders wide. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold it down. If it's too much for your hamstrings, take your feet to hips distance. Put a little bend in your knees. Shake your head out. Sometimes handstand work gets into the neck, and then bring the knuckles overhead a little bit more. Sweep the hands down towards the mat. Inhale to a flat back, straight arms. Bring your feet together. So the adduction of the thighs, or the squeezing in of the thighs, actually helps you engage the core, the lower core, from the internal muscles. It's called Mula Bandha. Plant your palms flat, even if you need to bend your knees. Look between your wrists, so you're really pushing the ribs in, finding a bit of a hollow body. Grip the ground with the fingertips, come high up on the toes, bend the knees. Commit to keeping the thighs together and creating this cannonball shape. So it's okay if you jump up just a tiny bit off the ground. Notice if I jump a tiny bit, but I keep an integrated shape, it still works to build my strength. Then from there, you could jump a little bit higher. Thinking about bringing the hips over the shoulders. If you have a wall behind you, tap your butt to the wall and come down. One more time, jump up, and then take it back into downward facing dog. Great job. So it's my goal in this practice to introduce to you all the different ways, entryways that you can find handstand. What we just did was a cannonball pike with bent knees. It could be a little more accessible for those of us with a tight back body. This next one, I'm going to invite you to challenge yourself a little further. We'll keep our legs straight, but if you need to keep your knees bent, that's also completely fine. Firming the thighs in, feet together. Shorten the down dog a little bit, look forward. Same principles, but this time I'm not going to bend my knees. However, drawing the thigh bones into the pelvis really helps. Come up onto the toes, bend the knees, and exhale, pike up and pull the hips over. Trying to keep the hips or the legs straight. Landing back down. We'll do two more. Jump up, pike the hips over. Keep your arms and legs straight. One more. Jump up, pike the hips over, and then see how softly you can land your feet in front of the mat. That one is one of the most physically challenging entrances, so don't worry if it didn't come that easily to you. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands behind your back. Interlace the fingers, a little bit of balancing out. Inhale, lift your heart up towards the chin. Exhale, folding it down. We'll just make our way back into down dog, sweeping the hands down towards the mat. Inhale to a flat back. A little bit of a down dog shape. So starting from a forward fold, it's quite hard. If you want to do that, you can. I would step the feet back just a little bit. Come high up on the toes. Ribs in, bend the knees, pike the hips up, keep the legs straight. Doesn't matter how high you get, just think about engagement and integration of the legs, the core, and the arms. Maybe you pike up, find that handstand shape, squeeze the thighs together, squeeze your butt, take it back, downward facing dog. Great job. Last handstand entrance. We just need to make it to the front of the mat. Inhale to the balls of the feet. Bend the knees, jump forward any way you like. Flat back, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. All the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take your hands to your hips. Step your feet out wide. Now I started with one-legged L-shaped kick up. That's the most accessible. You can do all of this at the wall. Then after that, we did cannonball pike, we did straight leg cannonball, or straight leg pike, I should say. Now the wide leg variation, or straddle pike. This tends to be a bit more accessible for those of us who are a bit more flexible. So you never know, you gotta try it out. Taking the feet wide, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive it forward. Inhale to a flat back, plant the hands underneath the shoulders. Grip with the fingertips. Root down through the index finger knuckles, firm the forearms in, spread the shoulder blades wide, ribs and navel in. Come up to the balls of your feet. So this one still involves the thigh bones drawing in. Anytime you need to use Mula Bandha, anytime that you need to use the legs, thigh bones draw in. But you accompany that with the feet reaching out, and that's what makes it the straddle. Inhale fully, bend the knees, exhale, point the toes and hop, reach the legs out. Okay? As you reach the toes out, the thigh bones draw in. Again, hop, reach out, bring the hips over. As you hop up, you push down through the heels of the hands, and you might be able to get a little bit higher. Do that a couple more times. Maybe you actually begin to balance a little bit. Using the wall is totally fine. And in that straddle variation, I like pointing my toes, pulling the thigh bones in, squeezing my butt, pushing through my hands, ribs and navel in as I look between my wrists. And if you have the strength, lowering down as slowly as you can really helps to build the possibility for pressing one day. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, hands to the hips. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. I wish I could give you a high five. It's not an easy class. Sitting down onto your shins, taking an interlace of the hands behind the back of the head, and just drawing the chin to the chest and the chest to the chin. Releasing any unneeded tension in the neck, so important here. Taking your right hand to the mat, left hand to the outside of the head, and just drawing your left shoulder or your left ear to your left shoulder. And taking it to the other side, left hand down, right ear to right shoulder. Good, and then back to center. Interlace the hands behind your back one last time. Inhale, lift the heart up high. And sigh it out. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.